Hello, my name is Chloe, welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing to you the Ride or Die book tag. So I wasn't actually tagged in this, but I watched Victoria's video from What Victoria Read, decided I liked the questions and wanted to give the prompts a go for myself. So sorry that I wasn't actually tagged, but I considered myself tagged. These are some really cool questions just about pretty much your favourite books. So let's just jump right in. The first prompt is The BFF, a book that not everyone likes but has been with you since the start. And I couldn't pick any book apart from Twilight by Stephenie Meyer. So a lot of people have issues with this book. I probably would have issues with this book if I read it now rather than like an early teen. But Twilight and the whole series is what got me into reading at this level, I guess. It's definitely like my first vampire book. It's the thing that got me into thinking reading was fun and not just something to fill time, I think is what I'm saying. Twilight has been with me for a very, very long time and I could easily pick up Twilight and just read it casually for no reason whatsoever. It's just one of my favourite books ever, potentially my favourite. The next prompt is The Long Drive, a book you'd take on a journey or if you know you'll be spending a lot of time unable to move. So let's just pretend I could get on a plane to see Cole right now. I'd probably just take my Kindle and pick a book off there. But for the purposes of this video, I have picked a book. I've gone for Thirst No. 1 by Christopher Pike, which is a bind-up of the books called The Last Vampire, Black Blood and Red Dice. So the Thirst series is something that I dipped in and out of as a teenager and I never made a note of what I was reading. So I've got books number 1, 2 and 3. I don't know how much of them I've ever read, but I really would like to dive back into this series. So obviously I'd only be able to take one, but these books are pretty big. I've got a feeling they're like 600 pages. Let's try and find now. I can't find a page number. 590 something ish, so 600 pages. So if I was on my 8-hour flight, then I've got time to read this and probably not run out of things to read. Next is The Newcomer, the most recent book you've read that you can't stop talking about. So I've picked this as literally the most recent book I've read that I keep telling everyone about, and that is Scythe by Neal Shusterman. So a lot of this isn't me talking about how much I enjoyed the book, it's literally just explaining the premise of the book, because I found it so interesting. So this is about a world where I've realised I said nothing about what the other books were about. I just presumed everybody knew. So let's just skip over that. Scythe is a book where, a world where it's a perfect world and the only way to die is to be gleaned by a professional scythe. I keep saying scythe. I'm going to stick with scythe. So we have two people at the start of this book, Rowan and Citra, who are still in school and they are taken on as Scythe's apprentices. And they pretty much have to fight to win the Scythedom. Scythedom? I don't know why I'm getting confused. I really just like explaining this book to people and I probably do it a bit more flawlessly than I just did, but it's a pretty good time and I really enjoyed it. Next is The Quiet One, the book you reach for when you want some peace and quiet. And sorry if this is going to offend some people, but it's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I am definitely one of the people who has no problem separating the author and their work. Most books I don't even think about the author at all, which could be rude, but you know, I am reading it for the content of the book. So Harry Potter has been with me for a very long time and I really enjoy reading it again and again, particularly this illustrated copy, which is just so gorgeous. And I now cannot find an illustration to show you, but it's insanely gorgeous. Like, look at this. It's so gorgeous. But this is definitely, in any format, Harry Potter is the book I look for if I just need some calm, peace and quiet. Next is a question I kind of don't agree with. The Outgoing One, the book you love to read in public or don't mind keeping with you for antisocial social occasions. I think it's extremely rude to read in any sort of social situation. Like, it's different if you're sat on the beach with people, then yeah, get your book out, but I can't imagine being at a family party and just reading a book. Like, it feels so wrong. But then I don't have an issue with what I read. I would happily pick up a book, like a steamy romance with a topless guy on the front. I don't care. But I've gone for a book that I feel like just makes people think, oh, what's she reading? And that is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, particularly when you take the dust jacket off. It is so cool. Like, I would have no issue reading this in public and answering people's questions about what I was reading. Ninth House is a book that me and Brittany read for our first month of Sisters approximately back in June, I want to say. And it is about the secret societies at Yale University. I really enjoyed it. I tabbed it quite a lot. We had an hour-long live show where I couldn't stop talking. And yeah, I just feel like this would be a nice one to be asked questions about. Next, another one I really don't agree with, The Guilty Pleasure, the book you don't want to justify because it would be too embarrassing, but you love it nonetheless. I don't think there is such a thing as a guilty pleasure. Just enjoy what you enjoy. But for this prompt, for the sake of it, I've gone for Glass Houses by Rachel Caine. Just because this is a book, when I recommend it to people, I'm sure to remind them that it is a cheesy, cliched, very tropey vampire book. It was written in 2006. This edition first published 2008, but 2006. So it's very tropey, it's very cliched, but it is such a good time. I have the entire series, so that's 15 books and like a summary book. I have no shame. Next is The Stranger, the book that no one seems to have heard of and you wish everyone had read it so you could talk about it. So this is a book that I now feel deserves this even more, and that is Midnight Sun by Trish Cook, not by Stephenie Meyer. What I see in my head is the original Midnight Sun. This is a YA contemporary about a girl with XP, which I cannot pronounce, like the actual name for it, but it is a skin disease that makes sunlight deadly to a person. I'm assuming it's on a scale, but in this book it makes our main character Katie, she cannot go out in the sun at all. It can be very, very dangerous for her. I've read this several times. I want to say at least 3 times now, and I absolutely love it. I cry myself to sleep every time, and I just feel like I wish people would read this so that I could talk about it. It's also been made into a movie with Bella Thorne, which is really good, and again, I don't hear of people watching it. So you know, when you're giving Midnight Sun by Stephenie Meyer some love, which I think you should do, give some consideration to Midnight Sun, which now might have been completely dwarfed by the name of Stephenie Meyer's book. Next, it's The Book Was Better, a book you loved but the film adaptation was awful. And I've written down a book, but I don't remember thinking the film was awful. Did I have justification for City of Bones by Cassandra Clare? I did. Okay, I remember what I was going to say. So I was going to say that I didn't mind the film. It wasn't amazing. The problem is that they didn't carry on. So there is City of Bones, the movie with Jamie Campbell Bower, who so we needed more Jamie Campbell Bower. Instead we got the Mortal Instruments TV show, which again isn't bad, but that doesn't follow the exact storyline of the books. So I really think there should have been a movie for City of Ashes and just carry on with the series, or do Clockwork Angel, mix things up a bit. But we needed more Mortal Instruments, Shadowhunter movies. Next, The Author. An author will read everything they ever produce. You trust them completely, whether it's a series of 15 novels or a shopping list. I have made no way to hide my favourite author. Pause me and guess it if you really want. And I've just got one of her books to show you. That is Jen Bennett, so my favourite book being Alex Approximately. I love Jen Bennett so much, I have a book group named after, a book club with Brittany named after her. It's Sisters Approximately, named after Alex Approximately. I so love her work. She's also such a nice person. Like, she has had Twitter interactions with me about really casual stuff, and I love it. She just seems so down to earth, and everything she writes is really good to me. I love it. Alex Approximately was a definite 5-star. Like, I didn't even blink when I gave it that. I've read it, I've annotated it, it's full of my thoughts. It's tabbed. I don't even know what else I can say about it. Amazing book, amazing author. Next is The Tubers. Pick YouTubers, tag them and let them know they're your ride or die. So sadly, Brittany doesn't make YouTube videos anymore, but I could not make this video and not say that Brittany is my #1 ride or die. She is genuinely my sister. nearly. We'll just say she is. Let's just pretend that me and Cole are married. So I flew 4,000 miles to meet this woman and absolutely love her. And because of that trip, I'm now dating her brother. Like, could we get closer? She is genuinely my ride or die. So if at any point she decides to come back to YouTube, she will have this tag waiting for her and she can do it. But yeah, I just genuinely love her to bits and she is my ride or die. And then this video could not go ahead without me mentioning Emily from Noval Novels. She is such a sweetheart and definitely you guys need to go and check her out and subscribe to her. She's so lovely, she's so kind, and she's just such an amazing friend, so she needed to be tagged too. But that is all from this video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you have any comments on any of my answers, then please do drop them down below and we can have a chat about them. I am fully open to chatting about every single one of these. But on that note, that's the end of this video. I do hope you enjoyed it and I will see you in the next one.